Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I'm your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So, you know I like to batch create, thus, still don't have my voice today. It's fine. It'll be all right. Hopefully by the time this airs on January 12th, I will be back to normal. I am feeling much better today. We had a great holiday break with my kiddos. I surprised my whole family with a cruise to the Bahamas. It was very exciting. We had a lot of fun. My kids said it was the best vacation ever, which awesome, right? I loved it. It was a lot of fun. We ended up going with some our good family friends, my best friend and her family. We really did have a great time on the cruise ship. A lot of people, a lot of dancing, singing, thus the voice and the congestion coming back to real life, right? But nevertheless, I am very excited for this new year. If you are listening to this on the day that we released it, I am starting the new program, The Starting Point, today, and that is a 5-day program where we're shifting the way that we start our new year, really making a great foundation instead of piling things on, getting a whole lot of clarity moving into the year. Because I found that, unfortunately, piling things on in the new year is not beneficial, really, to anybody, but to get clarity on what we want the new year to look like is actually really beneficial. And I'm moving through the 5 days myself ahead of time. I wanted to do the program ahead of time by myself, so that I could really tailor it and tweak it as we go live with it this week. So if that's something that you're interested in, there's still time to join. It will ultimately be a self-paced thing, but we are going to do it in 5 days. You can take longer to do it. I don't recommend doing it shorter because there is some big stuff that you do need to digest through that program. But nevertheless, if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me. Information will be in the show notes, or you can check out the link in my Instagram bio. So today we're going to chat about the world being your mirror. And this was a concept that I learned about years ago. But for whatever reason, it is coming through pretty strongly the last couple of weeks. And it was a conversation that I was actually having with a friend the other day. And something that I've been noticing because, and I've talked about this already on previous episodes, but I actually learn from my children. I am not a parent who thinks that I am the end all and be all and knows all of the things. I actually allow my children to teach me things and show me where I'm kind of missing the mark or what it is. There's a little fly here. Or reflecting things back to me, because children are naturally reflectors. They're going to do the things that they see done. And so it's actually a great way for you to kind of get another view on what's going on. Additionally, something that was coming up when I was talking with my girlfriend the other day was the thing that irritates us in whatever the relationship is actually something that we need to heal within ourselves. And so it was about a perspective shift, not a shame thing, but more of like recognition. So, for instance, and I'm gonna try to come up with an annoyance. I try not to focus on annoyances, but there are some days where you're like, oh my God, right? So, for instance, my teenage daughter, she is an emotional authority. Now, she wears her heart on her sleeve. You know instantly by looking at her face what her mood is. Now, some people would say that that is a negative. However, I find it actually quite positive because there's no guessing with her, right? Like, There's no, she might be in a good mood even though she's got RBF on, right? Like, she's got an RBF on, you know there's something, right? There's no hiding it with her. But sometimes the emotional authority is kind of annoying to me. Um, and it's something that we're working on, not because it's annoying to me, but because on some level, your emotions cannot just take your whole day. There has to be a balance between that masculine and that feminine energy. So the feminine energy is the emotions are constantly changing. The masculine energy is your logic, right? And so there does need to be some harmony and some balance there. And so what's been reflecting back to me is a massive amount of emotions from my teenage daughter. And it can be annoying to have that much emotion thrown at you, if I'm just being honest. And that's not just my daughter, it's from everybody in general, right? Like the emotional vomit that you just kind of get where they've kept it all in. This happens a lot when I pick up my kids from school. They've been in that masculine energy and they've been contained all day, right? They've been following the rules. They've been, containing their energies, that when they get into the car, their emotions just kind of vomit everywhere. And for a long time, I actually took this quite personal. And I remember having a conversation with my husband years ago where I was like, you know what? I don't even want to pick them up from school. Like, they are just so nasty when they get in the car. But what I started to realize was it wasn't that they were being nasty to me. They were just letting all of their emotions out that they had contained all day long. And the same goes for us as adults, right? If you work outside the house, you have certain rules that you have to follow throughout the day at work, right? There's stuff that you have to do that when you get home, you kind of want to take off all that armor. And what comes out is a whole lot of emotion. And I know this to be true for my teenage daughter. She because she's an emotional authority, it takes a lot of effort for her to manage her emotions throughout the day. And because the school day is fairly long with track practice and everything involved, by the time she comes home, she's just a bomb ready to go off. And so what I've been working with her on is like feeling the emotion without throwing it on somebody, right? Because there's a way in which you can feel those emotions without dumping them on somebody else. And so it's about giving her the space and the availability to actually feel the emotions without being the target. And so what I've noticed, because I do believe the world is the mirror, right? All your relationships are mirroring something back to you. And so I intuitively will start with myself. Where am I kind of emotionally vomiting on other people? Or where am I not paying attention to my emotions enough that there's some energetic imbalance happening? And when you can actually look at this differently, you begin to thank the people around you that are annoying and agitating and all of those other things, because it actually gives you an opportunity to look at yourself and reflect on, okay, how am I showing up this way? If this is the thing that I'm seeing in that person, where is this showing up in my life in a way that I can actually move through it? Because the truth is, you cannot change other people. You can be a catalyst of change. And so when you begin to do the work, the inner work on yourself, the world starts to reflect something else back to you. Now, this doesn't mean that you can wipe the slate clean and all of a sudden there's this picture perfect thing and no one aggravates you or triggers you or anything like that, right? Like, there will constantly be something. But it's about not getting stuck in the loop of saying, okay, well, I have to work on this before I can do that. No. Like, you can work on it and do that at the same time. And this is something that I've seen, in kind of the healing world, the spiritual world is, well, I'm healing myself and so I can't help you. Or I'm healing myself and I can't do this. And it becomes an avoidance kind of thing. And so I believe that there's wisdom in the process of it. The process is this beautiful part where you're learning, and maybe you're a couple of steps ahead of your audience in that one area, but people want to know, they want to hear that story, they want to see it in real time. And so can you share that with them, even if that's not your job per se, right? But if you have kids, how can you show them this? And this was actually a conversation I had with my husband yesterday, because we noticed kind of a lack of discipline in our two teenagers. Not that they lack discipline entirely, but that there hadn't been discipline recently. And so I said, is this something that we're showing them? Are they not seeing our discipline? And is that what's coming over? And what I decided to do was to start to be more visible in the discipline that I have, because it isn't always shown. It just, mom wakes up and she does this thing, but we don't actually know what she does. And so I've started to actually be a better visual of that, where I'm sharing things, and I'm not necessarily doing it behind closed doors. I'm being more open about the process and what that looks like. Instead of teaching at them, I'm showing them, or talking at them, I'm showing them what that looks like. And so when you have this trigger, this activation, right? A trigger is more of a negative connotation of it, whereas an activation is, oh, that person's activating me. Whatever it is that I see in them, I actually have in me, and that's being called forward. A trigger, on the other hand, is whatever that person is saying, doing, whatever, representing, that's an opportunity for me to heal. And so triggers and activations are really both very powerful if you know how to work with them, right? So if somebody is irritating you, that would be I consider that a trigger, right? And so how can you heal that part of you? An activation is, oh, that person is really inspiring to me. What part of me is being activated, and how can I look at that? So there is going to be this work, but the world is going to mirror it back to you. And sometimes you're going to begin to see all these patterns that come up and show up. And it's really just kind of noticing them and saying, okay, well, like, how can I choose differently? And some of those patterns that come up have to have a hard stop, where you're like, no, this is no longer acceptable. And some of them, they just kind of shift a little bit, and it's not something massive, but it's like, that's interesting to notice. And just kind of working through these things. I've noticed for myself that I've had to have some hard stops where I'm no longer accepting this thing. That was something that came through last month for me, in regards to the boundaries. Just some hard stops on things. So really all just very interesting. I'm excited for what this new year has to bring. And I'm going to sign off here before I decide to sneeze. So I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And if you are interested in the starting point, we do start today. So you can always reach out to me and join, even if you catch this after the 12th, we will still be running it, and it will be open for a little bit of time, so you'll be able to join and pop in and do kind of a self-led one. So I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye.